Hey mob, just checking in from VACSAL. Obviously you all know who I am, Josh Wanganeen. So we want to start off this check-in by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Wurundjeri people. Those are the mob for the Kulin Nations, and also want to pay our respects to all of our traditional owners across the state of Victoria. If you're not located in Melbourne while watching this, we want to also pay our respects to both our elders, past, present, and also emerging. So the reason that we're doing this video today is just to check in on people and just to ensure that all of our VACSAL staff and families are looking after our health and well-being. So first off, we want to start off by sharing our condolences to Melinda Eason, who's also just previously lost her stepfather yesterday. So we, from the VACSAL staff and our mob, we want to wish Melinda all the best in her time of need. Obviously it's challenging to be able to go through loss and grief at any time, but in particular at this space. So we want to wish Melinda all the best. So obviously in this session it's about our health and well-being for staff at VACSAL and our families as well. So we're just going to speak about some tips and tricks of looking after yourself whilst we are working from home. So we'll start off with some government and department tips in terms of COVID-19 on how we can be able to look after ourselves. So first and foremost, ensuring our hygiene is maintained. So things like washing our hands, pre and post dinner, and obviously family interactions. So washing your hands thoroughly with soap and/or steriliser. Avoiding touching others and our face, in particular when we're going outside in public. When we are going out in public, obviously it's essential shopping, so for food, petrol, and other essential sort of resourcing. So ensuring in public, if we're not wearing masks, that we're maintaining, or always maintaining physical distancing. If you are unwell, the department and government are recommended that you do stay at home. But once again, contact is paramount. So it's suggested the COVID hotline is the first and foremost contact, obviously with management and staff and family being alerted as well, to be able to support their health and well-being. The COVID hotline number is 1-800 675 398 as well. Social gatherings have been restricted at this particular time, and it's tough for our mob and our community, because I know many of us flourish. It's part of our cultural practice is to connect, share, and be able to look after each other. But at this particular time, it's been asked that we all avoid large social gatherings and social crowds as well. It's important that we individually stay up to date with the recent COVID-19 practices, especially going from stage to stage. So we can do this online as well by following our emails. I know Pam sent out one the other day in terms of some of our policies and practices in following our COVID-19 tricks and tips. Also, VACSAL have an online step-by-step practice, so we can be able to ensure that we're maintaining all the policies and procedures of that COVID-19 have put out there. Some of the tips and tricks that we're suggesting in terms of our cultural staff well-being, in terms of looking after family, our physical health, our mental and emotional health at this particular time, and also our spiritual health as well. So once again, obviously we spoke about the importance of maintaining keeping up to date, or keeping on social media, keeping up to date on television or text messaging of what we have to do, but ensuring whilst we're consuming all this information, it can be very overwhelming, being disconnected from people at work, being disconnected from family, disconnected from elders. So whilst we're consuming this information, to ensure that we're not letting this information consume us in terms of our health and well-being. I'm talking about stressing or worrying or caring. I think it's important that we are able to bracket and compartmentalise, absorb this information, but do diligence in terms of responding to it, and not letting it consume your mind too much. If it is, speak to someone, speak to a family member, speak to your management, and obviously we've got staff wellbeing plans that are still in practice whilst we're working from home. Social connection, we can still socially connect even though we don't have to do it one-on-one. So ways we can connect as staff, as we're doing it today, is using the team app, which majority of our staff are connected to now. Other than that, we could still connect via phone. Many of us have each other's numbers. Also email, there's still emails getting sent out, and we still have to be able to respond to our clients and our community in terms of emailing as well. Social media is another way to be able to stay connected with family, friends and community in terms of workspace as well. Also group chats, and a part of our cultural practice, we can be able to connect with people without seeing them face to face. So that's getting on the phone to family, friends, and the next video we'll talk about how to be able to have that one-on-one connection with our clientele, and some tips around that as well. Some things that we can do to look after our physical and emotional health at home is obviously eating well. So nutrition and eating healthy foods is paramount at this particular time. In particular, high vegetation and also high fruits to be able to look after our immune system, and ensuring that we're keeping up our fluids, such as water and things of that nature. Sleeping well is paramount as well. For those who are coffee drinkers, having coffee in the morning and not in the afternoon. Exercising, obviously many of us are still connected with our health and fitness within sports, and obviously that's limited at the moment, but we can still exercise even outside, but just making sure that we're following the COVID practices of 1.5, but yeah, ensuring that we're looking after ourselves, walks, runs and workouts in isolated places, sort of avoid parks and other areas where children and participants may be touching many things, but definitely encouraging walking, running and exercising. To be able to further maintain sort of hobbies and interests within sort of community. I know a lot of our Aboriginal community controlled organisations have got sort of tips and plans, so we'd encourage us to engage with those as well. There's also Black Business, which is an online Instagram account, which has got things like other board games, films, documentaries, and practices and games that you can have with families and friends, and then you can be able to maintain those virtually or in your own homes. Otherwise, there's Netflix and other TV series. NITV have got loads of programs in terms of Aboriginal cultural practices and things that you can be able to do at home to be able to maintain that. As well, SBS have got an amount of programs to be able to maintain, preserve and practice culture as well. Be inclusive of all your family and friends. Talk about how they're tracking and travelling at the moment. I think laughter is important to be able to maintain that connection, but also asking the question to family and friends of how they are travelling. If they're struggling, reach out to them and point them in the right direction in terms of responding to health and well-being. And that's part of our practices, whether we're at our organisational work or at home working, it's paramount that we look after our well-being. So many of our organisations are still functioning, even though they're working from home. VARS, Victorian Aboriginal Health Service, are still providing family counselling over the phone. And/or there's mainstream organisations like Beyond Blue and other peak bodies that are ensuring the health and well-being of people. So if you are struggling, communicate that, obviously with family and friends first and foremost, and then your manager, because they can offer support for staff. Also, we want to be able to hear from yourselves on how you're going in terms of working from home and other little hobbies and interests that you're doing at home to look after yourself. But from myself and the rest of the VACSAL staff, continue to do your workplace practices and look after yourself. Stay healthy, mob. Thinking of us.